Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người. Chào mừng mọi người đã quay trở lại với channel của mình là Tyrant. Hôm nay chúng ta tiếp tục quay phần 2 của nhiệm vụ truyền thuyết Cyno.
You're here? I thought you were going after... Ah, I guess you lost their trail.
Mình giảm tiếng một chút để mọi người nghe rõ mình nói gì.
We went to Cyrus's house. No one was there. Cyno got there before us, but he was long gone by the time we arrived.
He didn't say where he was going?
No, he left us a letter and told us not to go after him.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Typical Cyno.
Cyno thích làm việc mình.
Anyway, some updates on progress on our end. I drew the emblem from memory again, but in more detail this time.
I checked some ancient texts for a similar design. The one I found was a little blurry, but the similarities in the general form and certain details were clear enough to confirm a match.
Yeah, and we're lucky we found anything at all. It turns out the emblem was all but lost to history.
Meanwhile, Arav managed to get Baraka to disclose his source. The one who told him about Cyrus's embezzled funds was a young man from the desert. According to Araka, he had a striking presence and was well educated.
Apparently, the two met in the tavern over a game of cards. The guy claimed to be in the city for business as part of a... Uraka was intrigued when he heard what his new acquaintance had to say and brought up the idea of extorting Cyrus for Mora. The guy encouraged him to go ahead with it, then
I see. So it could be that this person planted the paper intentionally.
So, how do we find this guy?
He doesn't know. He claims not to have seen him since that day in the tavern. The man gave him some tips on how to carry out the
Nephis and Arav have gone to meet the Core of 30 and review the city's entry and exit records. Also, Nephis admitted that the Temple of Silence in the Academia is just a facade. The true Temple of Silence once came to the rainforest to establish a collaboration with the Academia, but as time went by, the sages gradually became corrupt and foolish. The Temple of Silence felt that they could no longer trust the Academia and ended the partnership. Ever since its inception, the Temple of Silence has been the guardians of King Deshret's civilization and belief system. They traveled throughout Sumeru, sequestering and guarding any wisdom that posed a threat to the people's livelihoods. At its roots, it was a legitimate and reputable organization whose purpose was to guide people towards the right path.
The Academia of the day knew that the split would damage their reputation if it became a matter of public knowledge. And so, they set up a dummy organization of their own to conceal the truth.
Not only that, but they managed to keep up the charade for hundreds of years.
So how did Cyrus become acquainted with the true Temple of Silence if they left
I'll bet that's the question that bothered Cyno. Probably why he went after him in such a rush.
Whoever is behind this, getting Uraka to extort Cyrus was only the first step of the plan. Their true goal in doing so was for Cyrus to see the emblem on the letter.
He must have recognized it right away. That'll be why he didn't want to involve the authorities. He probably hoped to take care of the whole thing by himself. Unfortunately for him, Cyno had other plans.
Since the desert is where the Temple of Silence originated, that is in all likelihood where Cyrus went.
I have to go after him.
Really? Are you sure that's a good idea with how you respond to the heat? Why don't we send someone else?
I should be fine, as long as I bring plenty of water. Besides, I just can't shake this ominous feeling that if we don't catch up to them soon...
Everyone, I have news from the Core of 30.
Master!
Oh, so that's Nephis, Tainari's master? Oh, finally getting to meet him in person.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Traveler and Paimon.
Thì giác phải Armata.
Several independent eyewitnesses have reported seeing Cyrus and Mahamatra Cyno leaving the city at different times. I was going to suggest that you join forces with the Corps of 30 in this case. However, as I'm sure you've already heard from Alhaitham and Kave, the Temple of Silence is involved. The Academia has made a number of decisions throughout history that I am ashamed to talk about. It may well be that no better choice was available to them, but those actions are nonetheless a stain on our legacy. I won't attempt to make you understand the Academia's perspective. Now is the time for action.
Cũng dễ hiểu thôi.
I understand where you're coming from, Master. But I'm afraid the situation might be more complicated than we thought. I think we need to keep a low profile, or risk making things worse.
Good point. If Cyrus is involved with the other side, or worse, if he's fallen into their hands, and... everyone, we have to get Cyrus and Cyno back safely. We cannot afford to lose them.
Need our help? Whatever you need, we got you covered.
Really? Wonderful. You have my most sincere gratitude. Arav and I will continue to follow up on the lead from Uraka. Kave, Scribe Alhaitham, I'd like to ask you to cover the duties of the House of Dana. Tainari, you're planning to go into the desert, correct?
I am. Kave, I'll be okay. You stay behind to help Master and Alhaitham.
Well, if you're sure. Okay. But be careful.
Thank you all. Arav, let's go.
You'd better get moving. Don't forget to ask for help when you need it.
Will do. Let's go, Tainari. Hopefully we can catch up with Cyno before it's too late.
Knowing him, he's probably covered a fair distance already. But we still have a shot. Let's take it.
Okay, we made it to Caravan Ribat. Where should we go next? Maybe we should ask the nearby guards if they've seen anything.
Hold on. Look over there.
Is that Dia?
You sure you want to brave the desert alone? I mean, it's your choice at the end of the day, but still.
It's not my first time. I'll be fine.
Cyno.
If you're really going to go through with this, then at least take our advice. When you're packing for your trip, budget for 5 days more than you plan to spend out there.
Có cam kết.
Makes sense. Okay, I'll go get ready.
Thought we might find you here. You're trying to retrace Cyrus's steps, aren't you?
Didn't I tell you not to come after me? I thought I had a good lead on you.
Để chú em chậm thôi. Nói thành nhanh.
Sorry, but we never agreed to that. Why would you go off on your own like this?
Nothing personal. It's just a complex situation. And I'd rather not involve anyone else if I can help it.
Takes a special kind of person to get Cyno chasing them all the way out to Caravan Ribat. But why so coy today, huh? You only gave us his age and description. Why can't you reveal his name? Is he Sumeru's most wanted or something? Oh, also, hey guys, it's been a while.
Dia and Candace! So nice to see you. Actually, seeing all of our friends is the whole reason we're here.
Đúng rồi. Gặp từ cái dùng nó content là tạm biệt đến gia đó.
You're looking well. Glad to see it.
Đúng rồi.
Candace and I came to Caravan Ribat on business. We ran into Cyno as he was asking about some elderly gentleman's whereabouts. Some people say they saw him. Guess he stood out as an older guy heading into the desert alone with just a sumpter beast in tow and very few supplies. That's gotta be one heck of a story there.
Cyno, It's okay if you can't tell us anything about the case. But let us know how we can support you. We're here to help however you need. The more people we have working on this, the quicker we'll be.
No, it's not that simple. If I'm right, he'll be doing everything he can to avoid us.
We spoke with Zaha Hadid. From what she said, it's pretty clear that he wants to try and solve this on his own. It won't be easy trying to find him in the desert when he's deliberately trying to cover his tracks.
Trốn thì kiếm sẽ có.
Sounds like this is far more complex than we imagined.
Still, if he started from Caravan Rebot, the chances are that his route took him past our...
My thanks to you both. Once this is resolved, I will find a way to repay you.
Come on. No need to get all serious. Just buy a round of drinks next time we're all in the city or something.
That's a deal.
All right. So, you all set?
Yes, we'll handle it from here. Thank you again for your help.
All right.
Okay.
Then we'll leave you to it. Just remember, if you change your mind and need some reinforcements, we'll be here.
And don't think you'd be imposing. You can depend on us.
Don't worry,
Okay.
we'll keep him out of trouble.
Hold on. There's a few
Now,
things I'd like to
Arrow.
clear up.
Go on.
So, after you left the campsite, we had a longer talk.
Clearly, we've only scratched the surface of the Temple of Silence question. It doesn't surprise me at all that the one in the academia is a fake.
Do you have any connection with the Temple of Silence?
I do. I trust you're all aware of the spirit
Ah,
that gives me my
Herman.
power.
Có không có được quay.
Hermanubis, the original founder of the Temple of Silence. Due to my unique constitution, I was put through a number of trials in the desert when I was younger. Later, I met the professor, and he brought me to Sumeru City. But my memory of that time is hazy. I can't recall much. It's a good thing that Kaveh noticed the emblem on the letter. Without that, I don't know if we would have connected the dots and realized there was more to this case than mere extortion. I did not recognize that symbol at all. Whether that's because I've never seen it, or because my memory fails me.
Yeah, you're right. Thank goodness for Kaveh, and for Al-Haytham's diligence during his time as acting Grand Sage.
But Cyrus must have recognized it right away, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have had any qualms about you reporting it. Oh, maybe his connection to the Temple of Silence goes even deeper than yours.
I
Well,
suspect so too. Professor has never once mentioned the Temple of Silence in conversation. And whenever the conversation turns to Hermanubis and the concept of spirit indwelling, he avoids going into any depth.
Well, speaking of avoiding things, you do realize, don't you, now that we've caught up with you, you're stuck with us for the rest of the way?
I am aware. And I have accepted it. Or rather, I don't see how I could manage to
That's right. Fact is, we're coming with you whether you like it or not. So the best option now is to try to look out for each other.
Không có gì. Trốn danh. Nào, cái danh.
Fair enough. Then at least let me buy you a drink once we're back in the city.
Okay.
Works for me. All right, off we go. Let's start by seeing what the guards here can tell us.
Dạ, sau đó mình không có nhiệm vụ gì đây.
Hello.
Mahamatra Cyno?
I'm looking for someone. So I'd like to confirm any recent foot traffic in and out of Aru village.
Okay.
A man matching that description passed by Aru village not too long ago.
Where was he going?
Let me think. He took a seat by the entrance of the village for a while and had a brief chat with the person who came to deliver the water. He said he was headed somewhere near an oasis.
Đảo.
But he didn't mention which one. Do you have a map? I can mark out the direction he was heading and the best routes to any nearby oases.
I have one. Mark away.
Great. There you go.
Thank you so much. You were a great help.
You've got a really good memory.
Ah, you're quite welcome. Just doing my job.
Ok.
Best of luck. I hope you find him soon.
Đây.
Hold on. I see some people over there.
Do you think it's safe to ask them what they know?
Should be. I'll go.
No. I'll do it.
Huh? Why can't Cyno go talk to them? What difference?
Given my background, appearance, and the way I dress, I might not be the most welcome visitor here.
Ah, hello there. I hope I'm not interrupting.
Oh, a missing person, huh? Sure.
I'm just wondering if you've seen him.
So, a silver-haired guy in a long robe, culture type with thoughtful eyes, and
He'd stand out like a sore thumb around here.
yeah, sounds like the kind of guy we'd remember if we saw.
He's looking behind me.
Uh-oh. That guy...
Your friend over there Hey! Aren't you Cyno, the General Mahamatra?
Yes, that's me.
You don't seem surprised that I recognized you.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, you're the one looking for the old man who's gone.
I have a bad feeling about this guy.
Someone's on edge. No need to hide it. I understand why you're wary of us. Still, you came to us asking for help.
I thought you were a group of merchants. Seems I was mistaken.
Your henchmen don't look like much, but something tells me they put up a better fight than most mercenaries.
Hey! Hear that, guys?
Suits me, as long as I get paid for it.
Just cut to the chase already.
all right. Come with me. All of you. Don't you want to find your friend? Silver-haired, long-robe, culture type with thoughtful eyes?
So you know where he is?
Just follow me. I'll take you to him.
Rồi. Nhân vật mới nè. Dạ biết sao. Nha, cứ tiếp thôi.
And here.
What? Where are you looking? There's nothing here.
Please step back.
Whoa, something's coming out of the ground.
What is this enormous building doing here?
And how was it so well hidden? King Deshret's technology?
Vua Deshet.
Wait, so... Hold on, who are you guys really?
Is this the Temple of Silence? So you're...
All good questions. There'll be plenty of time to address them later.
Yeah. Rồi thì tôi cũng rồi Cyno thì chiếu.
This is not what Paimon was expecting to find in the desert, especially not hidden right next to an oasis.
Ok.
Oh, Paimon's scared. They must have kidnapped Cyrus. Do you think this is the guy Rocco met in the tavern?
Chắc là vậy đó.
What's wrong? Thinking about your professor?
I just hope for your sake you haven't done anything.
Me too. Hope I haven't done anything to incur your wrath.
Nên lộn chính thì coi như mọi bọn thì bỏ vậy. Tại vì cách chí thần còn không sợ, cách chí ma thần còn không sợ. Muốn liền sao mà thua được. Tiền cầu thang cho đâu mà chạy giữa trong hơi đần. Cười vô chi phải lo, vô chi phải lo, vô chi phải lo đúng không? Không biết tại sao lại cười dở hơi à. Chắc vậy. Đây dạ. Cô qua mà vui nó có tác dụng ra.
All
Ôi,
right,
chị cô.
you can wait here for now. I'll inform our leader that you've arrived at the Temple of Silence. Sit tight until he comes to greet you.
So he's just gonna leave us here unattended?
They can't have been at the oasis by chance. They were waiting for us. Whoever the leader is here, they were obviously counting on us showing up.
Chắc chị muốn Cyno tới thôi.
So this is the Temple of Silence. After leaving the rainforest, they hid themselves here?
Hey, look! That guy's coming back.
Don't worry. Someone will come and call for you soon.
What's your name?
Sorry, guess I was so delighted to see you, I forgot to... My name is Sethos. I'll be here if you need me, but I'm not planning on answering all of your questions. Other than that, you can occupy yourselves however you see fit.
Sethos.
So we're free to explore by ourselves.
Yep. I mean, I'm not worried about you running off. Cyrus is here. And unless I've misunderstood, you're all quite anxious to see him again.
He's right. Well, if we've got some time, we might as well take a look around.
Vòng chơi thôi. Cũng không phải lần đầu. Nói chuyện với Cyno.
I never imagined that the true Temple of Silence would be hidden somewhere like this. We've passed through these parts before, but...
That's King Deshret's technology for you, I guess. It borders on the miraculous.
We should be wary of our hosts. Still, at this point, we can be confident that the professor is safe and sound. So that's something.
Đi vòng coi. Không biết được đưa tới đâu. Biết. Chắc chị vòng. Để có. Màu chạy vòng.
Hey, Sethos! Have you got some time to chat?
Sure. Although, I'm assuming by chat, you mean you have questions for me? Not often. The Temple of Silence is a place of quiet and solitude. We don't get too many visitors. Yes, that was me. Although, tricked is a stretch. He was asking everyone in the tavern about ways to make some easy money. He insisted that nothing was off the table, even if it broke the law. So, I told him that Cyrus had embezzled a large sum of mora from the desert.
So you framed Cyrus for a crime that he did not commit?
No. That's not entirely true. Let me jog your memory. Of course, Rocco was a great accomplice, really. Very cooperative with a little bit of wine in him. Did exactly what he was told. And not much of an original thinker, though.
Why did Cyrus leave for the desert as soon as he received the letter?
You'll have to ask him that one yourself. Certain things I can't answer for him. I'm neither judging nor defending him. All you need to know is that he recognized our emblem, and it was his own choice to take the bait. What kind of question is that? He's the General Mahamatra. Everyone in Sumeru knows who he is.
Right, but back at the Oasis, you can't have known who he was for sure, or you wouldn't have asked him, so...
I've lived in the desert my whole life. Guess you could say I've never had the pleasure.
Ugh, why does Paimon feel like this guy's not being straight with us?
Chứ còn gì nữa.
Come on, we've only just met. If I give you all the answers up front, you'll have nothing left to look forward to. Nope, not once.
Really?
I have no need to go there. Not when the taverns are full of the Urakas of this world. Besides, we're well aware of what goes on at that place. Spies? It's not as clandestine as that. The city gates are wide open. Anyone's free to walk in.
Không mình cho hỏi. Câu chuyện dân tàu.
Ah, here he is.
Đi. Ai da. Đến nhà đi không này. Quá.
Grandfather, the person you wish to see is here.
Well done, Sethos. Greetings, one and all. I am Ba Moon, the current leader of the Temple of Silence.
Professor!
Cyrus, are you okay?
Watch what you're doing!
Oh, my apologies. We have no intention of causing you distress. But you must understand, Cyrus is of great importance to us. Cyrus owes me his life, and to the Temple of Silence, he owes a debt of gratitude.
I wanted to end my feud with this old bag. Just leave, Cyno. This is a matter between us two old men.
So that's why you didn't want to report the letter. You'd made up your mind to come here from the beginning. You only left in such a hurry to try and throw us off.
Some things in life catch up with you. No matter what you do, you shouldn't have come. That alone brought the others.
Câu chuyện quá khứ nè. Có lẽ cũng liên quan tới con lại giờ sức mạnh của Cyno.
Cyno didn't make us do anything. We came here for the same reason he did. To rescue you. We'd appreciate you telling us the truth.
My secrets are secret for good reason. Bringing them to light.
You're afraid, aren't you? You can't bring yourself to speak up. You recognized our emblem because for many years you lived among us. Indeed, you all but became one of us. You knew as soon as you saw the letter that we, not Uraka, were the ones speaking to you. It threatened you only because you know what you did. For you, Cyrus, are a traitor. You once shared your learning with us, but then you betrayed us. You bargained for your independence with your past. We both know what I said to you that day. That as the leader, I grant you permission to leave, but that one day, the sands of time will catch up with you. And when that day comes, you must pay the price you owe.
Rồi, ok. Tôi nói đi lời nhận thơ tiếp đi. Tôi rất thích nghe những lời nói của anh Diệu. Chỉ khi bọn thâm nhập sao mà làm.
You really know how to hold a grudge.
Ok thôi.
Who is his might? And the wielder of his power?
Does he mean you?
Professor, anything to say?
The moon is right. I came here once before. He rescued me from the brink of death once, many years ago in the desert. When he learned that I was a scholar, he invited me to come here and revive the might of Hermanubis together.
Thêm chữ ham vô chữ chữ anh Fis để tránh liên quan đến thần thoại Ai Cập, nhưng mà cái này cũng là liên quan tới Ai Cập nên người ta cũng đang chẳng thấy gì được đâu. Cá luôn á.
It was a great, daring plan, and one shrouded in secrecy. Bamoon proposed that we implant bar fragments, shards of Hermanubis, into the bodies of suitable vessels. Many believers volunteered themselves for the experiment. But one other child was identified as a suitable vessel, and his parents agreed to release him into our custody in exchange for a small fortune. These two children were our only hope for hosting Hermanubis' power.
For many years, the Temple of Silence had been in possession of 2 Ba fragments from Hermanubis. As remnants of his... The test subjects were sent into a room that had been prepared for the ceremony and instructed to approach the Ba fragments, whose power... The original plan was for a 3-stage experiment: resonance, implantation, and recovery and observation. The resonance stage went quite smoothly for both. As the second stage began, I realized a decision had to be made. Should we implant the fragments one at... But as I was deliberating, both Ba fragments suddenly became active. They glowed. Our 2 vessels had both displayed great promise by successfully resonating with the fragments. To preserve our faith and our power.
Ultimately, I ended the experiment.
In recognition of your past contributions, I have always wanted to see you, Cyno. Losing you.
I see. So that's how I gained my power.
Look, in essence, I borrowed your bar fragment for a decade, but you cannot lift a finger against Cyno.
I'm sure you don't remember anymore, dear Cyno, but you've met us all before. You and he, Sethos. As a follower of Hermanubis, I have allowed this power to remain in the rainforest for far too long. Now, it is time to reclaim.
That power is not yours to reclaim.
You are wrong. Cyno was chosen, but he was not the only one.
So those are your terms for freeing the professor?
Despise me all you want. My sins are my own. The Temple of Silence is an innocent...
So what you're saying is, the power of 1 Ba fragment is not enough? You're asking me...
Divine power causes great suffering to those who wield it.
He is no longer a small child. But regardless, this burden is ours to bear.
Both my heart and mind are telling me that what you are...
Don't listen to him, Cyno.
I know. But if this is a question of your freedom versus a...
Sorry to interrupt, but in my view, there are a number of contentions. Say that Cyno refuses to return his power, and you also refuse to release Cyrus. Then, you're trying to gauge where we stand while keeping your remaining cards close...
Wait, those ears... So, we have a descendant of the Valukashuna in our midst. Everything we have longed for, Hermanubis will provide. Perhaps this very day, we'll...
Why is he coughing so much?
Bamoon, you...
Take our leader back to his room. Grandfather, I know what you wish to say. I don't like to drag out conversations, so I'll just cut to the chase. Had Cyrus not stopped the experiment all those years ago, the plan would most likely... Still, It's no use talking about what. I'm not like my grandfather. The Temple of Silence has a grand legacy and a sacred duty to fulfill. But I see things a little differently. I don't believe the temple has the same stature that it once did. So I'm not going to force your hand. You're all free to leave.
You have courage and wise I truly wish that the temple would. Things will only continue to improve.
If you hadn't betrayed my grandfather.
Tainari made a good point earlier. All you and Ba Moon are after is the Ba fragment. The professor will accept whatever fate you deem fit for him out of a sense of guilt. Ultimately, you want to trade the Ba
I'm glad to see you're giving it some serious.
I won't forsake my professor, nor do I intend to run from a problem that I must.
That works. Then I'll be waiting to hear you. Oh, my grandfather still has a fair few things he wants.
Are you sure about negotiating with him?
I need to think this through. Everyone, let's meet again later tonight. Until then, take some time.
All right, well, don't put too much pressure.
I've taken some time to reflect on this. If I had to guess, Professor Cyrus came to the desert knowing that he would almost He's a stubborn man who tends to double down when he feels strongly about something.
I agree. My master Nephis says the same thing. Once Cyrus makes up his mind about something, he won't listen to reason.
So that's one thing. A few other things come to mind too. You've heard all you need to hear about the Temple of Silence. So on that, my own memories of this place are hazy though. Probably something to do with... I do remember having some fleeting moments of profound emotion when vague image... I was still young then, and all I could understand was that there was a strong will inside my mind. Thinking back on it now, the power that came to inhabit my spirit was probably one of the cornerstones of their whole faith. So if...
You're not gonna give in to their demands, are you? Surely there has to be another way.
No. I have no intention of returning it. I need this power to protect Sumeru. But the temple has the right to make the final decision over its fate, since it belongs to one of the 7 pillars of King Deshret.
Yeah.
So I will challenge them head on, and win the right to wield this power for myself, fair and square.
This reminds me of something Alhaitham mentioned to me just before we left. He said that the Temple of Silence was originally Kaveh has made similar observations about the desert tribes from his work trips there. He says many of them have their own internal rules. They talk about the importance of never dishonoring their tribal bonds, or the rules laid down by their ancestors. I think we could turn that to our advantage.
Wow, and just like that, we've turned the tables on them.
Looks like we have the same idea. Turn it back on them now while we still can, in terms that they cannot refuse. That's how...
Great. And I know just how to start the conversation. Let's go find Sethos. We'll tell him that I know a thing or two about medicine and would like to...
Sethos, let's talk.
Have you made up your mind?
We'll get to that, but first, I have some degree of medical training, so...
I have no objections, although we do have our own doctors here.
Only...
Follow me. Keep your voices down. We don't want to disturb it.
Let's talk outside. Ba Moon has fallen into a deep coma, and his prognosis is quite... He appears to have sustained a serious injury in his youth, which has been exacerbated over the years by the heavy... Regretfully, I must inform you that, based on what I've seen with...
You're his heir, aren't you? You clearly have a lot of respect for the man. But you also see things differently. So tell me how we can end this on your terms. Let's find a way to bring all this to a
Yeah, there's no time to waste here.
You know, The two of you are actually in a very...
Right. And you didn't create this situation.
You're right. We both look at this problem very differently than the people we inherited it from. I accept, Cyno. This all began because of Hermanubis. So let's end it with the rite he himself created.
Okay.
Legend has it that when Hermanubis first arrived in Tuletula, he sparred with the city's residents. He and his two companions proved their mettle by fighting over several days, winning that group of supporters were some of the first members of the Temple of Silence, and the sparring matches were enshrined as one of our founding rites. The rite.
Sounds very fitting. I'm in.
As a fellow vessel of Hermanubis, your ties to the Temple of Silence run deep. So I will
3 against 3. Sounds good.
However, I have some additional terms. As the challengers, you must win all 3 of your fights. Letting Cyrus leave with one of the Ba fragments was a mistake, made by my grandfather out of pity. It is a long-standing issue that must be addressed.
None needed. If I win, the Temple of Silence must release Cyrus. And consider that if you win, I'll return.
It's a deal. Then let's meet at the ceremonial hall tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock.
Tuyệt lắm. Đánh nhau giờ. Tuyệt vời con bé luôn. Rồi, sắp kết thúc giờ.
Well, after how that went, there's
There never was. Turning back hasn't been an option for me since...
You have to win. You need this power, both as General Mahamatra and for yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Besides, it stayed with you ever since you were a small child.
Both as General Yeah, when you put it that way. I've had to overcome a lot to tame this power and claim it for myself.
Exactly.
The Traveler and I will never lose.
And neither shall I. The desert was home to an ancient and great civilization that, for a variety of reasons, fell out with the civilization of the rainforest. But there must be personal factors at work here too. I can't shake the feeling that Bamoon cares for many more things than he lets on. Tomorrow, everything will be resolved.
We gather on this day to perform once more the rite of duels, with the greatest of all sages, Lord Hermanubis, as our witness. For this is our most sacred of ceremonies, and no disruption from the audience shall be tolerated. Representing the Temple of Silence.
Grandfather, you're here.
A rite of duels after all these years. I am surprised by your decisions, Ethos.
I know what I'm doing, Grandfather. Just leave it to me.
Representing the Academia, the Challengers.
Ready. We will fight to have our voices heard.
Warriors, take your positions and decide on the order of battle. We come not to debate what brings our challengers here, nor what will become of the defeated duelists. Duelists, the might of Hermanubis himself is at stake here.
Huh? Are you sure?
I agree. He's very strong. Sending him out first will definitely intimidate the opposing side.
Okay, then you're second.
Sure.
We have decided.
So have we. Let's begin.
Duelists of the first bout, please step forward.
Rồi, chọn thua đi. Gì đấy?
You there! You better play nice with them or
À,
Paimon
tấm
will
mũi
make you
nè.
regret it.
Qua vậy.
Little bit too much chatter from the audience over there.
Ôi trời ơi. Đó, ok. Ôi trời. Đó.
Propagate!
Ôi dạ. Quá dễ dàng.
A swift end to the first bout. I now invite the duelists of the second bout to plead. When you're both ready, you...
Let's begin.
Okay, Valerie.
Watch out!
He drank plenty of water before the bout, so he should be fine.
Yeah.
Valerie thì chỉ cầm cách đó.
Let's nip that in the bud.
Yeah.
And shroud. One with the forest.
Đặt. Ok. Dân. Rồi, giờ cuối sẽ nào. Cơ chiến đấu gì?
Thus ends the second bout.
I'm ready.
So am I.
This is the final stage of... When you're both ready.
I am Sethos, vessel of Hermanubis. For many years, we have kept our covenant with Lord Hermanubis by guarding the secret. We earnestly sought Lord Hermanubis's wisdom. Now, I will fight.
I am Cyno, General Mahamatra of the Academia, student and successor of Cyrus. And you, I think you left some things unsaid. This is a sacred duel.
Everyone. Old. My grandfather is a wise leader. He is also known to be a ruler, but our faith has held us back for too long. After I grew up, times have changed. Then I thought of you, Cyno. Each Ba fragment of Hermanubis stands for some... I once thought that the nature of our fragments must be what makes us so different from one another.
I am more than just a warrior. I am my own person.
Exactly.
The name Hermanubis has left its mark on both of us. So show me your answer, Cyno. Show me I can be more than my faith. Bring it on!
Cutscene cũng hay. Rất đánh và lại là cutscene.
That's all you've got? What happened to searching for your answer?
Hay cũng giống như so chỉ có nhân chính là già thành kiếm ghẻ. Kiếm vô phong ghẻ.
fight's over. Do you yield?
You won.
Well then, looks like you found your answer.
I give his glory to you.
I've seen that light. That is the light of our Lord, the great Hermanubis, priest over all other priests. His spirit dwells within that lightning, and his will lives on. Once a warrior of Tynar, he emerged from the barren desert sands to serve the god king Al-Ahmar. After the death of the god king, Hermanubis gathered his followers and the Tynarian priests and led them to the city of Tula. There, they founded the Temple of Silence, and from that day forth, we became stewards of all knowledge that survived from King Deshret's civilization. Barely a century passed before war ravaged the desert. One by one, Eremite leaders took up arms against each other in battles that would devour what little remained of their civilization. Only the wise city of Tula was spared under the guiding hand of the Tynarians. But peace did not last. Coveting the knowledge of King Deshret, the beasts set their eyes on Tula. The king of Gurabad laid siege to the city and ordered the sages to surrender to him the Temple of Silence as proof of his victory. The ruling elite colluded with their oppressors, betraying the temple so as to hold on to their rule over the city. They declared that the knowledge guarded by the temple was the true cause of corruption. These were dark days, and we faced enemies on all sides. Our Lord had long since exhausted his strength, keeping the forbidden knowledge introduced by King Deshret at bay. To ensure the temple's continued survival, he broke his being into many pieces and began the ceremony of Hermanubis' legacy, bestowing his power upon his mortal followers. With this power, the temple was able to defeat the tyrant's army. Yet, we were not hailed as heroes. Strange and unfamiliar as this power was, it struck fear into the people's hearts and drove them to reject us. In the end, the people of the temple and the Tula Tynarians left the city for good and made their way to the rainforest. What followed next was inevitable. The elite of Tula fell and were decimated. War engulfed the desert. And we wandered from place to place, always in hiding, all the while keeping close watch over our secrets and staying true to our mission. Betrayal forced us out of the desert and into the forest. Then mistrust drove us from the forest into the desert once more. We have lived in exile for far too long. Yet, today, the Temple of Silence has borne witness to the glory of Hermanubis once more. Thank you.
is it? Do you feel okay?
Đi rồi.
Grandfather.
Hey, Sethos. You'll get through this.
I know. I'll miss him.
I guess you were prepared for this. It's been a long time coming, huh?
Yeah, he's been on death's door for a very long time now. I think at least he was able to see this chapter come to a close before he passed.
What's next for you?
Per my grandfather's last wishes, the Temple of Silence should submit to whoever possesses the...
But that's never going to work. As I'm sure you realize, I did foresee this possibility and I gave it some thought. The fact is, I know next to nothing about the staff, records, and Sethos. I believe the honor, were it not for this duel, or indeed if you had other intentions, the Ba fragments would... I do.
Still, I didn't think Bamoon looked very surprised by the final result.
Well, in any case, since the Ba fragments are with me now, Sethos, I would like you to succeed Bamoon as the new leader.
But doesn't that render...
No, it doesn't. This experience has a... That's a much bigger deal than you might think, Sethos.
I will try.
Actually, part of me wonders whether Bamoon's intentions from the very beginning, that way, no matter who won, one of us would have to surrender our... Had you won, the Temple of Silence would have done... And were I to win, he correctly anticipated that I wouldn't suddenly drop everything. He knew that the Temple's future would depend not just on the guidance of Hermanubis, but the support of the Academia too. So he made it his responsibility to ensure his successor would be free from the burdens of the past. His plan meant that whoever ended up succeeding him, they would have an easier time interacting with the Academia. With one single letter, he lured out the professor. No matter what happened after that,
Kết
it
quả
would result in a net benefit to
cái
the
đơn
temple.
dự đoán trước là dù ai có được sức mạnh được, ông cũng thấy hài lòng. Ok, cái ông nhận qua cái xin chất lượng quá. Em xin cái xin này chất lượng quá. Chả buồn cho mình cài ta được. Nó cứ bắt mình coi là một đoạn kết xin đánh boss hoài. Phải lo.
And here I thought the General Mahamatra wouldn't care for all these trivial... You're absolutely right. Grandfather and I considered this from every angle. Thank you for everything, Cyno. As a gesture of our gratitude, to those that you and Lesser Lord Kusanali deem worthy, I will grant the honor of access to the Temple of Silence has a wealth of information on King Deshret's civilization. More than any other organization but you must be exceedingly careful with your selection. By the way, Tainari, my grandfather was so happy to see you. You are a descendant of the Veluka Shuna, and we are the heirs to the will of Hermanubis. The story goes that King Deshret chose the sage Hermanubis from among the Tainarians and appointed him as his familiar. He went on to fight many valiant battles with his Tainarian companions. They always stood by each other, from the founding of the Temple of Silence to the fall. The Tainarians who left Tuletula joined their human counterparts in the rainforest. A few centuries later, when some of the group returned to the desert, many of the Tainarians chose to stay and put down roots in the rainforest. In all likelihood, Those were your
How fascinating. My father once mentioned that I was named after the Tainarians, but I never knew that my forebears had such a history with the Temple of...
I like this story.
By the way, has anyone seen Cyrus?
Yes, Cyrus. You'll probably find him.
If it's true that you and your grandfather really planned for everything to turn...
Who knows? Perhaps all of us.
Someone's got to make the decisions when history is at a... I will make a detailed report on all of this to Lesser Lord Kusanali, and arrange for an official delegation from the Academia to come and meet you in the desert.
Không có gặp được Hàng Đa không?
I'm sure you'll have lots to attend to in the days ahead. But once things return to normal, please come... If we're going to work together, both...
I will. All right. Well, bye for...
See you soon. Come hang out with us anytime.
Rồi về rồi đây.
What were you thinking, gallivanting off into the desert alone at your age? What if you take the bucket,
Oh, please, will you stop your yelling? What other choice did I have?
What do you mean, what other choice? Do you mean to tell me that after all your years of learning, and sagehood no less, the only idea you could conjure up in that white-haired walnut of yours, a one-man suicide mission, That's the best idea that one of the finest minds of a generation could come up with, is it? It astounds me that you survived.
All right, all right. Honestly, the way you're going off on me, it's like you...
I've got nothing more to say. What's the point of berating an old bag of bones?
What do you mean, bag of bones? I'm a flesh-and-blood hero who, despite his old age, saved our General Mahamatra from being stripped of his powers. Okay, look. Fine, I admit it, I was in the wrong. How can I make it up to you?
1 month? Try 3.
Hinari's master is really laying into Cyrus. Let's...
Professor brought this on himself. Don't pay any attention to him.
Wow, I haven't seen Master get this riled up in a long time. The last time he chewed someone out like this must have been back when I was still a student.
I think I'll go around and update everyone. Tell them the situation's resolved. Want to come with me?
See?
We can go for dinner afterwards. My treat. You in?
Makes sense. I'm in.
Hyman's coming too! Let's go!
Mối Paruzan đấy. Thì mối Paruzan đấy.
Hey, Kale.
You're back! Well, look who we have here. Would you mind explaining to me what has been going on this past few days? I heard you all ran off into the desert and got embroiled in a major catastrophe.
All taken care of.
That does not answer my question. How could you be so careless? That goes for you as well. Yes, and you too. When you run into problems, you really ought to ask for help, you know? I've been around the block. Don't you think it would have made sense to involve me? And let's not forget, I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Now would not be a good time to attempt to argue with Farazan.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. It's not the first time that I've had to talk to you about this sort of thing either. You need to learn that there are times when the right thing to do is get a more experienced member of staff involved. Do I make myself clear? Because if you don't,
Kale, please do something.
He's giving me the signal. All right, guess it's... Say, Madam Farazan, I can see you're pretty upset, but, I was just wondering, remember that time you offered to give me a tour of the Academia? Does that offer still stand? Huh? Wait, did I hear that right? Kale, you remember? Wonderful. Well, of course the offer still stands. Come on, Madam Farazan will show you around the old classrooms. Poor Kale getting dragged off like that. Also, check out Faro's on acting like some sort of official academia tour guide.
Kale, cup.
Huh? What? Oh! What do you mean, cup? You need a... Oh, it's nothing. Just Master's way of reminding me to stay hydrated while I'm out and about.
It's code for let's reconvene at the cafe. Tainari and I used it while we were in school, and it's become something of a family tradition now.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. 2 people left. Let's bring them along too. Am I hallucinating? Or do I see Kaveh and Alhaitham engaged in diligent studying?
We're just reorganizing all the books we used. Look, there's a whole mountain of them.
There's no rush. Nobody reads these books anyway.
My sincere thanks to you both.
Yes, with your help, we resolved the issue rather...
I see. The Temple of Silence resorted to rather unique means of self-preservation. It explains how they managed to remain hidden for so many years.
And it sounds like they managed to preserve a whole load of ancient documents as well. I'd love to go check those out if I ever had the chance.
That day will come. The Temple of Silence is a hugely important organization, and we'll be sure to maintain good relations with them in the future. Now, as a token of my appreciation, I'd like to treat everyone to coffee.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great. Although after the last few days...
Sure. Let's go.
Rồi à. Rồi giờ nấu cơm.
And then, the traveler just pounced on their opponent and knocked him right out cold. Then there was Tainari. He put up an amazing fight, too. We ended up winning all 3 bouts. Whoa. Part of me wishes I'd been there to see it, but I'd have been biting my nails off worrying about you guys.
A truly edifying account of the events. Bereft of detail, but it has livened up the room.
Hey, Paimon included all the juicy details. The traveler just pounced and then waved their sword like this, then spun around and blocked.
Despite winning 3 bouts in a row, you still ceded the position of leader to him. That's very dignified of you, Cyno.
Of course. Being dignified comes with being a true champion.
I got to be a champion too for once. I've not sparred much with desert folk before. It was a pretty unique experience.
Yeah! Huge place! It felt like something right out of an epic poem! Imagine this. It was like there was...
Maybe save that one for later, Paimon. Dessert's here.
I think that'll do me for today.
Shall we stop off at the House of Dana again before heading home? We should probably finish putting all those books back.
My thoughts exactly. See you around.
I should get going as well. See you all later. Make sure you get some good...
I need to go say thanks to the Core 30 for their help. Also, Sir Nephis says he wanted to introduce me to some of the Academia's work processes. So, I gotta dash too.
Kale's come a long way. She's much more confident at dealing with other people these days.
Everyone's a work in progress. You never stop learning.
Yeah, true.
That was good. It feels like everything's finally wrapped. Life is all about these moments when you can finally relax and hang out with good friends after a job well.
Do you 3 have anything planned for the rest of the day? If not, would you come somewhere with me? That's a secret for now. Wouldn't want to spoil...
Okay. I think I can guess what you're talking about. It'll definitely be a nice...
Well, now Paimon's curious. Come on, let's go.
Đặc biệt là chứ.
been a while since I last made my way up here.
Còn nghĩa là hai thằng còn học thì là tới đây chơi.
Need any help? As you wish.
It's a nice spot, isn't it?
What a great view! We're so high up, we can see.
Traveler,
Sao thế?
turn around. This is my secret base. Somewhere I only bring my best friend. When I was a student, I used to slip away and climb up here all the time, just to clear my head. Back then, I had a lot of the same questions that Sethos was asking. Who am I? Our gifts help us to find our rightful place in the world. That was my experience. And I'm sure Sethos will figure things out in his own time, too.
You two really are like brothers.
I feel the same way. Of course. I see no need to be humble when it comes to the fact.
I still remember one time when we came up here to chat and do our homework. Cyno accidentally dropped a fruit. Luckily,
That was the one and only time. Nothing will ever slip through my fingers.
Those were good times.
You know, Paimon really shouldn't be able to imagine Cyno doing something like that, but for some strange reason, the mental image is coming through clear.
Then make it stop. There's somebody there. You guys carry on without me. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Huh? Hey, you're not supposed to jump down. Be careful.
Oh my days. I can't believe how...
Professor, what are you muttering to yourself about?
Cyno. Just the man I'm looking for. Guess what I found in...
Some old photos?
Can you believe it? This notebook was just sitting in a pile of odds and ends in the sage's office. I must have forgotten to take it with me, and no one's touched it since. I was at the Academia earlier to discuss my workload with Nephis. I swung by the old office to have a look around and just... Oh, time flies. Look how tiny you are in this picture.
You look quite young yourself in that one. Ah, it's this one. I remember that. Lisa took it, didn't she?
Yep. Looks like her work, all right. Who else could have found just the right angle to make me look so unbelievably hideous?
And this one. Looks like we're both dozing off.
Oh, cheeky girl. Taking secret photos of us without our knowledge.
Is there something you'd like to say to me, Professor?
Like what? Like, these are good... hey, at moments like this, I hardly know where to begin. I can't pretend I'm a good person. But Moon had every reason to despise me. Well, so...
Don't be ridiculous, you old codger.
Is that not what you wanted me to say? Oh, I've dreamt of that place many times after leaving the desert. Oh, it was one of the happiest times of my life. We all learned so much from one another. You've matured so much over the years, Cyno.
Since you're my professor, I should save you some face by not calling you out on all the non-answers you just gave. So, I will do the right thing and keep my mouth shut.
Good thinking. Take your own advice next time. Seriously, why bully an old man like me? I thought he... Hey, wait, how did I not notice this one earlier?
Lisa strikes again.
Look how cute you were.
Yeah, and look how serious and professional you used to be.
Oh, I can't compete with you anymore. First you get better than me at the deadpan.
Don't say that.
That's more like it. Hey, what would you say to meeting up with Lisa again some?
I'd like that. Let's find a time and pay her a visit in Mondstadt.
All right, I'll add it to my schedule. Let's go next week. Wait, no. Next week is the tomato growing competition. I have got to beat Zaha Hadid.
Già này mà còn thua á.
Or you could find a real hobby, Professor.
Cà chua, what the fuck cà chua? Yeah. Ây da. Okay.
Time has passed, but it turns out grown-up kids are no use. When Nephis comes after me, Cyno still can't do anything to protect me. Oh, that boy.
Great view today. This atmosphere calls for a joke out of left field to catch the listener unawares.
Thôi đi ông ơi, cười khi nó cười. Ok. Để kết thúc câu chuyện này, mình đã hoàn thành vụ truyền thuyết Cyno rồi. Thì đây cũng kết thúc. Dạ. Thì mình sẽ coi khi game xin có gặp nội dung mới thì mình sẽ làm. Chỉ còn về cái chứ nếu mọi người thắc mắc tại sao thì không làm cái sắc màu lưu động Arake khi đốc xuyên ngàn đêm á, tại vì mình phải đi học quân sự trong khoảng 2 tuần đó. Nên mình không có làm được. Mình cũng làm từ chuyện đó rồi nhưng mà mình không có quay được xe. Ok, thì đó là lý do của mình. Ok, mong mừng thông cảm. Thì nếu có sự kiện khác mình sẽ làm. Và có thể chúng ta sẽ có một con game kinh dị trong để mọi thứ cân bằng trở lại. Mình thấy là mình cũng làm chuyện này có lẽ mọi người sẽ hơi chán nên mình sẽ bắt đầu một series phim kinh dị mới. Có thể Dead Bay mình sẽ làm lại nhưng mà có lẽ là trong tương lai xa. Còn lại thì mình sẽ làm về những game kinh dị ngắn hơn cũng như là dễ theo dõi hơn. Ok, thì đây là kết của video. Bye bye và hẹn gặp lại mọi người.